What on earth is that, you may ask? Well, it's this. Well, that's the box, and this is it. Little story of why I've got this, whatever it is. Some of you may recognise it, many of you wouldn't. I didn't know they existed. Looks like that, jack at either end. Place I teach at, Elam, East London Arts and Music, upgraded all the gear. So we had Mac computers, new Mac computers. They got Yamaha CP73 keyboards. They use the 88s in their performance areas and so on. So I've got them in the room. Great. And Roland keyboard amp, which also has an XLR. No reverb, an XLR, so you can take a mic. And also another little PA thing, which doesn't sound as good actually. The Boss Street thing. Roland Boss Cube type thing anyway. So I got used to this piano in the 70s. I was playing with it. I looked up the manual online. They put them in during the break, so I had a little look. And I rather liked it. I wasn't considering changing my keyboard. But this one seemed to offer so much. I thought, wow, what have I been missing? There was one issue, is that there was a hum. And I asked the tech there, what's this? Because if it's new, get it sorted quickly, a replacement or whatever. And he said, oh, I don't know, I'll ask the other fella. I'll make a note of it. And he said, maybe it's the computers and this and that. And I thought, not so sure. I've had computers around keyboards for years, never an issue. Anyway, I did a bit of my own fiddling about. I changed the jack lead, as you would. Nope. Then I plugged it into the new guitar amps, the Katanas that they've got there. No hum. So I thought, I told him this. So it's not the jack lead because I swapped it. And it only hums through the Roland, which is a keyboard amp, not through the guitar amp. Anyway, didn't think much of it. Looked online. I thought, maybe I'll get myself the 88. And lo and behold, a shop called Gear for Music had a second-hand 88, which was £800 cheaper than new. In excellent condition, they said. All checked out, they said. It's a shop with a year guarantee. I didn't rush. I waited another week until I went back to the place I teach at to try it again. On the understanding in my head that obviously if it's second-hand, if it goes, that's it. You have to buy a new one if you want one. It's going to be £800 more. It was still there. And I thought, yes, come on now. And it's great, I have to say, for me, particularly what I do. However, we had headphones and so on, then I plugged it into my valve amp, which I'm going to use on the gig with it. Guess what? It hummed. So I plugged it into the Bose, which I use sometimes, and it didn't hum. So I've got the same situation that I had at school. Something, sometimes I do wonder what the average person does in situations like this, because I'm reasonably knowledgeable, I've just been at it a long time, and I'm soldering and I think, what does the average person make of this? Anyway, I start looking online. Not much info on it. One person did say he'd noticed his hummed, I think I read somewhere, and that if it was switched off the keyboard but plugged into the mains, it still hummed. So I tried it on mine. Switched the piano off, plugged in, and plugged into the amp, and it was humming. Unplugged the mains, the keyboard, stopped. Plugged it back in, humming again. People online said various things. Make sure you're in the same socket, main socket. So I was fiddling around and make sure in the main socket. I'm thinking, I haven't had to do this. It's 2024. I haven't had to do this ever. So I made sure they're both in the same socket, no difference. Fiddling around all over the place. So I suspected earth, but why? That's a thing of the past, really, isn't it? Maybe obviously not. I was lucky enough. I am lucky enough to have a music shop over the road. And I thought, let me see if they've got a second-hand DI box I can borrow, because I want to try this ground lift thing. So I go there. They did have one, a Behringer, cheap and cheerful. He said, yeah, just use it and bring it back when you're done, or buy it if it works. So I plugged it in. Of course, I had to have an adapter because the outside of the DI box has got a XLR. So I have to have an XLR to jack. What does the average person do? I've got one, but I'm just wondering. So I try it, humming, then I do the ground lift. hum is gone. But because it's designed for a mic input, XLR, it's only about 1/3 the volume, if that. So no use. You have to turn the amp up full and everything. But anyway, at least I felt, well, it seems to be to do with that earth then. So then I start searching and searching. There's various things that all cost quite a bit of money and this and that, but I've got to have one that blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this one I found, Palmer Wupper. They boasted a bit. They said it's well made, seems to be. They said hi-fi, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. I don't know if it is or not. They said, and they show graphs, no signal loss, because that was the other issue with the GI box. It dropped it. And it's called an isolator, I believe. But I give you the right term. Give you the full term in case anybody needs to get it. It's called a line isolation box, and it's passive. So it's not another thing to plug into the mains, thank heavens. So there you are. Took it to the school. Hum gone. Tried it here. Hum gone. If I place it on top of the valve amp run by the transformer is slight hum. But I'm going to have it down on the ground. It'll probably fall off the top anyway, get pulled off. No hum. So, job done. About £80. And, you know, it's another little thing to have to plug in, have two cables instead of just one straight into the amp. Okay. But I'll let you know about that in case anybody has the same issues, an earthing type issue with guitar or anything that's this keyboard. I use a keyboard on the mono out in there straight into the amp. That you know this exists. But again, yeah, I do wonder what the average person who just buys a keyboard and gets... Because what would have happened if I hadn't had that one at the school? So I just decided to buy this anyway. And it turned up, and I've been on phone to them saying, well, it's buzzing. I can show you a recording, do a video, it's buzzing. Now I've tried it in various sockets. I've tried this. What would have happened is a huge, great box it came, as you can imagine. What would have happened is, I imagine, I'd have had to send it back. So I'd say, something wrong with this second-hand one. I'll send it back. And then I'd have spent £800 more to get a brand new one. And you know what would have happened? It would have hummed as well. So I don't know what's going on there. I suspect it must be the Yamaha. The keyboard's great for me, but I'm thinking, Yamaha, come on. Come on, really? I have to use this? Not on every amp. Who knows why? Anyway, all's well that ends well, they say. See you next time.